Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now introduce the Sen Hon Arbib, the Minister for Small Business and Assistant Treasurer, just to say a few words to us. And Mark, I'd just like to say on a personal note, I thank you and the government for the support you're giving to the business enterprise centres, because without that support we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing out there in the business community. Senator.
Can people hear me? Yeah, I might go without the microphone, that's all right. Well, thanks very much, Dave, for the introduction. I really do appreciate it. And it's fantastic to be out here with my parliamentary colleagues, Ed Husick and Michelle Rowland. This is while I've been the Small Business Minister for about a month, this is my first official function. I've spent the last month out with small businesses across the country. And I was actually hoping I was going to speak after Christine, because I'm very interested to see the census index myself in terms of what's coming out of it. I have to say, depends at the moment, feedback I'm getting in terms of business conditions, in terms of confidence, in terms of the issues, really differ from place to place, region to region, differ between cities, differ between sectors. The information I'm getting back from small businesses are quite varying. And there's some small businesses and SMEs that are doing extremely well. There's some sectors that are doing well, and there's some that are struggling, that are finding it very, very hard and very tough under the conditions. The reason I wanted to come out today to this breakfast was, first of all, you've got fantastic local MPs in Ed and Michelle. And they were some of the first people on the phone to me when I got the job as Small Business Minister, and saying, can you come out and talk to our small businesses, because they know how tough it's been out here in Western Sydney. They know it's been very difficult for our small businesses, and they wanted to make sure that I was out here to hear the stories firsthand, to interact with our business people and to understand the issues that are affecting businesses, enterprise and also jobs in Western Sydney. When I was given the job of Assistant Treasurer and Small Business, for me that was an outstanding job to get. To be able to combine the economic portfolio and the work that happens with the tax office with the small business ministry, I think is pretty critical, because you talk to many people across the political parties, you talk to many people in government departments, and I think a lot of people don't understand the importance of small business to the economy. They don't understand the importance of small business to jobs. And for me, the reason why this portfolio is so critical is because when you look at the data, when you look at the economic contribution that small business makes to the GDP, when you look at the economic contribution small business makes to jobs, it's incredible. Right now, on our figures, when you look at the ABS, there's over 2 million small businesses, which is a massive number across the country. But the job generation out of those 2 million, it actually creates 5 million jobs to our economy. And those 5 million jobs represent half of all the jobs in the private economy, in the private sector. That shows you how important sector is, and that's why it's important to Labor. When you talk about a Labor government, Labor is about jobs, about giving people employment, because we know if you give someone employment, that allows them to take advantage of opportunity, that allows them to do better for their kids, allows them to put their kids through school, allows them to put a roof over their heads of their family, it allows them to improve the lives of their children. And that's why jobs are so important, and small business is at the heart of the economy that allows people get employment, to make things for their lives, for their families, and that's why everyone in this room and small businesses across the country is so important to me, and also to the Prime Minister, to the members that are here, but also to the government. Now, business enterprise centres are organisations that the government is supporting, the federal government is supporting, and will continue to support those centres because they are providing critical information to people such as yourself, so that you can do your jobs, you can have a successful business working day in, day out. And one of the things I've picked up pretty quickly is it is very difficult to get information from governments out to small business. There are, as I've said, 2 million of you out there, and at the same time as that, you're not sitting around able to read copious amounts of documents. At the same time as you're running a business, you're also your own marketing manager, you're also your own salesperson, you're also doing every part of your business. You are busy people, and you don't have time during the day to be trying to get on a government website and find out what's going on. That's why these business enterprise centres are so important, to get that information to you. Because there is a lot happening from a federal government perspective, there's a lot happening from the state perspective. But the federal government is providing a huge amount of work at the moment to try and assist you in reducing down your red tape, to try and improve your cash flow, but also to try and cut your tax. And there's some big changes coming up this year which I'll talk about. First thing though is what we're trying to do as a federal government for small business, but all SMEs and all business, is to try and provide confidence in the economy. Now I have to tell you, I am sick and tired of hearing people run this economy down. I'm sick and tired of people talking about how bad things are going in Europe, and that really it's going to flow on to Australia and doom and gloom. That is the worst thing that could be happening for people such as you in this room, and the worst thing that could be happening for business in this country. We need to have confidence in our economy so that people keep investing in our economy, so that people keep spending, going to the shops. And we should be confident. We've got a lot to be confident about. When you look at Europe, when you look at the United States, we have got very little in common with them in terms of our economic strength. We are the envy of the world economically. We came through the global financial crisis. Yes, part of it was because of the important structures and financial structures we've had in place in the past. Part of it was because of our position in the world. Now we're in Asia, the growth of China, but also we had the right government policies in place. We put in place a stimulus package, we put it in place early, and in the end, the stimulus package was about small business. That's what it was. I was one of the people out there working on it, and it was all about small business. We looked at the multiplier effects of what spending would do. We looked at what spending in the education system would do. We looked at what spending on social housing would do. And we worked out that if you spend money in construction, if you spend money in these areas, then you will keep small businesses employed, and they will then trickle down. The work will trickle down. Those workers, those labourers, those electricians, those plumbers that are kept on a job site, on a school job site, well, guess what? They go to the local service station, put fuel in their car, helping that local business stay alive. They go to the local takeaway, buy their hamburgers, buy their sandwiches. If they're very healthy, they'll buy an apple and banana. But keeping that business alive, a trickle-down effect, multiplied, keeping people in jobs, keeping the economy going. And you know what? It worked. It worked. Unemployment in the United States almost hit 10%. In Europe, over 10%. In Australia, we didn't get over 6%. The strength of the economy. And since then, since the GFC, now we face the European sovereign debt crisis. But at the same time as that, the Australian economy, when you look at the growth potential, when you look at the forecast, 3.25%. That's what the growth is going to be over the next 12 months. And that is something that none of those developed economies over in Europe, they'd be dreaming of 3.25% at the moment. They look like they could be going back into recession. At the same time as that, at the same time as our economy is strong, AAA rated by all the rating agencies, the first time in this country's history. At the same time as that, we're reducing down debt. We're going to get the budget back into surplus. We're working hard to do that because we understand the importance of paying off debt. We understand the importance of having a strong economy in play. So that is the global picture of what the federal government is doing, and that should give you confidence in this room, no matter what gets thrown at us. Yes, we are not immune, but at the same time as that, we can come through this, and small businesses can stay alive, they can still prosper, as long as we have the right ideas and the right support, and that's something we're going to try and do for you. One of the most important things that is coming up this year, and I think, well, there's two things you need to prepare for. One is the carbon price, those changes which are going to be taking place in July. Now, none of you in this room will be paying the carbon price. None of you. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and hopefully, talking to David, we're going to try and get the information out to you, but none of you will pay it. It's only the top 500 companies. Obviously, there will be issues in terms of your own costs, and you will need to take that into account with your pricing. And you can get information from the business, from the BEC, but also you can get information from my department and also the ACCC that's providing information for small businesses. But out of that carbon price change, we have again factored in small business. Because when you look at the packages we are providing, business assistance packages to help businesses move into a greener economy, to reduce down their energy and utility costs. When you look at the assistance packages for families, 9 out of 10 families will be no worse off because they are getting assistance through the tax system, through the family benefit system, which is going to ensure that they still have cash in their pocket to spend in your businesses. And at the same time as that, for those of you who aren't incorporated, for those of you who are pay as you go, in terms of the tax system, you will get a financial benefit because we're tripling the low tax threshold from 6,000 to 18,000, which means you will save money on your taxes, which is a very big win for the tax system. And that is something that they've talked about for years and decades to actually lift that threshold. We're doing it right now. At the same time, the other, and I'll finish on this because I know we're all looking forward to the presentation, is the mining tax. Now, there's been a lot of debate about the mining tax. Why are we doing it? We're going to cripple the sector, etc. Don't we understand how important resources are? And so we understand the importance of resources to this country. We have worked with the big mining companies, with BHP, Rio, Australia, to get this MRRT, the mining tax, right, and we've got it right. And the beauty of this tax is it's allowing you in this room, it's allowing every Australian to benefit from the mining boom. These resources that are being dug out in Western Australia and parts of New South Wales and Queensland, they're not owned by BHP, they're not owned by Rio, they're owned by us, the Australian people. And when you dig it out of the ground, you only get one go at it in terms of making income, in terms of investment. And we have to make sure that all Australians are benefiting, all Australians, all our businesses are benefiting from the income that's coming out of our resource sector. And we know the costs, we understand what a booming resource sector means for our exchange rate, the Aussie dollar. So there is a price for many businesses, particularly if you're in manufacturing, particularly if you're in tourism. So it's important that we share in the resource boom. So just, and I expect most of you don't know this, but out of the mining tax, we will cut the company tax rate. This is what the Gillard government did. We'll cut the company tax rate from 30 cents in the dollar down to 29 cents in the dollar. And small businesses will get that tax cut first before any of the big businesses gets passed on to them. So that is something for those of you that are incorporated. That's about 720,000 small businesses across the country. At the same time as that, we understand that cash flow is something that is extremely important to people in this room. And that is where we're working in terms of asset depreciation. And we are going to allow you to depreciate up to $6,500 of assets, not just for one asset, for numerous assets that you purchase in the next financial year, which will again provide a big saving for you in terms of cash flow. And of course, we've got the depreciation allowance in terms of cars and utilities, etc., which again small businesses can benefit from. And this is coming out of the mining resource rent tax, because we understand that all Australians should be benefiting, and certainly our small businesses need support in terms of their cash flow, in terms of their tax rates, and also red tape. So I'm going to work with the business enterprise centres. I'm going to work with all small businesses to try and achieve these goals. At the same time, as I started, being the assistant treasurer means I get to work with the ATO every day. So I'm really looking for feedback from people in this room, but businesses everywhere about their daily interactions with the tax office. Because if we can improve the way they operate with small business, if we can get them focused on your issues, I think that's going to improve your day-to-day operations, your monthly operations, and certainly that'd be something that I, as the small business minister and the assistant treasurer, would be very keen to do. So thank you for the invitation to be here. Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Michelle, for making sure I came out. I look forward to the presentation. Thanks, everyone.